Not only that, but people always is scary. Well, feather seals are known for being extremely stealthy, doing things like floating.
Remember what was discussed in the 1800s? Because we know that if the news is fake, imagine how bad history is. I'm going through this book with beautiful designs on the side. It's from the 1800s. It's falling apart. They don't make them anymore. Listen to what it says about nursing and breastfeeding mothers. This is absolutely shocking. And, well, we're going to get into it. There are some precautions that you should take while nursing your baby. You may eat any simple and digestible food, but do not eat pickles nor very sour fruits, which are apt to give the baby colic. You should avoid, listen to this, this is the crazy part. You should avoid all excitement and not allow yourself to give way to anger. Listen. If by any unfortunate occurrence you should be greatly excited or frightened or angry, do not nurse your baby directly after. Draw off the milk then in the breast and wait for fresh to come in before giving it to the baby. There is something in strong excitement, particularly of terror or grief, which at least in some women rather, makes the milk poisonous. I knew a mother once who heard of her father's dangerous illness. She was a very devoted daughter and was greatly distressed. She prepared to go to him at once. In the midst of her preparation,
Mes chers amis, ma musique est faite pour vous prêcher la vérité dans la bouche. Et sur ce, je m'en vais vous dire, quand c'est mort les uns les autres, ne m'étalez pas sur vos choses de match. Vous comprenez, non? Je vous ai parlé ici quand menez-moi au Maroc. Vous êtes en train de dire que là, tu es en train de manger le billet pour seulement voyager. En tout cas, moi, je suis un peu gentil. Regardez comment la mer est bleue. À Libreville, la mer est grise. C'est pas la même chose. En tout cas, pour ceux qui peuvent revenir au pays, ils revenez. Pour ceux qui peuvent rester, de toute façon, vous allez revenir. On te bled, au bécaille. Mon fait, dégagez du Maroc et venez maintenant. Ne m'étalez pas sur vos choses de match. Vous comprenez, non? Je vous ai parlé ici quand menez-moi au Maroc. Vous êtes en train de dire que là, tu es en train de manger le billet pour seulement voyager. En tout cas, moi, je suis un peu gentil. Regardez comment la mer est bleue. À Libreville, la mer est grise. C'est pas la même chose.
La mer est grise.
Revenez, pour ceux qui peuvent rester, de toute façon, vous allez revenir. On te bled, au bécaille. Mon fait, dégagez du Maroc et venez maintenant. Ne m'étalez pas sur vos choses de match. Vous comprenez, non? Je vous ai parlé ici quand menez-moi au Maroc. Vous êtes en train de dire que là, tu es en train de manger le billet pour seulement voyager. En tout cas, moi, je suis un peu gentil. Regardez comment la mer est bleue. À Libreville, la mer est grise. C'est pas la même chose. En tout cas, pour ceux qui peuvent revenir au pays, ils revenez. Pour ceux qui peuvent rester, de toute façon, vous allez revenir. On te bled, au bécaille. Mon fait, dégagez du Maroc et venez maintenant. Ne m'étalez pas sur vos choses de match. Vous comprenez, non? Je vous ai parlé ici quand menez-moi au Maroc. Vous êtes en train de dire que là, tu es en train de manger le billet pour seulement voyager. En tout cas, moi, je suis un peu gentil. Regardez comment la mer est bleue. À Libreville, la mer est grise. C'est pas la même chose. En tout cas, pour ceux qui peuvent revenir au pays, ils revenez. Pour ceux qui peuvent rester, de toute façon, vous allez revenir. On te bled, au bécaille. Mon fait, dégagez du Maroc et venez maintenant. Ne m'étalez pas sur vos choses.
Otro pleno nikakiwelewele. Entre près de Berkeley. Nikafu. Very keen.
Match. Vous comprenez, non? Je vous ai parlé ici comme menez-moi au Maroc. Vous êtes en train de dire que là, tu es en train de manger le billet pour seulement voyager. En tout cas, moi, je suis à Port-Gentil. Regardez comment la mer est bleue. À Libreville, la mer est grise. Ce n'est pas la même chose. En tout cas, pour ceux qui peuvent revenir au pays, revenez. Pour ceux qui peuvent rester de toute façon, vous allez revenir. On te plaît, Bécaye. Mon fait dégager du Maroc. Venez maintenant. Ne m'étendez pas sur vos choses de match. Vous comprenez, non? Je vous ai parlé ici comme menez-moi au Maroc. Vous êtes en train de dire que là, tu es en train de manger le billet pour seulement voyager. En tout cas, moi, je suis à Port-Gentil. Regardez comment la mer est bleue.
Lui, c'est Ebonoa, prophète autoproclamé qui vient de créer une sacrée pagaille au Ghana. Sur son compte TikTok, suivi par 1,3 million de personnes, il alerte depuis des mois les populations sur la fin du monde programmée selon lui le 25 décembre 2025. Pour survivre au grand déluge annoncé, il a construit une dizaine d'arches et avant Noël, des milliers de personnes, parfois même venues d'autres pays, se sont ruées pour avoir leur place à bord. Problème, le jour J, quelques inondations, mais pas de fin du monde.
God has given us some time to build more arcs in addition to the 10.
Oui, alors il va peut-être même falloir repartir à zéro là, parce que les gens ont carrément mis le feu aux arches.
You are too old to be preying on the downfall of your enemies. Old enough to be directly involved. You are too old to be preying on the downfall of your enemies. You're old enough to be directly involved. You are too old to be preying on the downfall of your enemies. You're old enough to be directly involved.
Some of Becca Bloom's wealth was generated through fraud. What I'm going to talk about today is how Becca Bloom's parents' family, Camelot Information Systems, defrauded investors in 2010 when they raised money via IPO on the New York Stock Exchange by deceiving and lying about the success and the growth of their company and the strong relationships that they had with other companies.
And until society becomes statistically equal, you cannot cherry pick equality only in moments where it allows you to contribute less. So yes, my husband pays all the bills, and yes, I think that's the bare minimum.
Let's listen. At the time. In the year 2000, Becca Bloom's parents founded a company called Camelot Information Systems. They raised $290 million on the stock exchange via two separate fundraisings in the year 2010, I believe 2011.
This is the story of Andre Thomas. In spring of 2004, after still struggling with his long-standing alcohol abuse and mental issues, Andre started drinking cold medicine frequently. On March 5th, a friend had to take him to a mental health clinic because he started having manic episodes. Once in the clinic, Andre told the staff, "If y'all don't help me, I'm going to step in front of a bus." But the staff told him, "You should go to the emergency room." But he didn't go. About 3 weeks later, Andre stabbed himself in the chest and went to the emergency room in Tacoma Medical Center in Grayson County, Texas. He told hospital personnel that he wanted to cross over into the heavens. When his wounds were determined not life-threatening, the hospital wanted to keep him for psychiatric evaluation. But to do that, they needed a judge to sign the form. While waiting on the forms to get signed, Andre wanders out of the hospital, and nobody attempted to even find him. On March 27, 2004, just 2 days after the emergency room visit, Andre kicked in the door of his ex-wife's home, 20-year-old Laura Thomas. Now, she shared her home with their 4-year-old son, Andre Jr., and her 1-year-old daughter, Leah, who she had with her current boyfriend. Once inside the home, Andre stabbed the 3 victims with 3 different knives. He said he didn't want to cross-contaminate the blood. He wanted to allow the demons inside of them to live. Laura's stab wounds created a large V shape. They didn't know if that was some type of message he was trying to send, but all of the victims were stabbed with so much force, their ribs had been cut open. He cut out a piece of Laura's lung, thinking that it was her heart. He also took the heart of both of the children. Besides the body, Andre left $1 bill. He said he didn't want to cross-contaminate the blood. Ex-wife's home, 20-year-old Laura Thomas. Now, she shared her home with their 4-year-old son, Andre Jr., and her 1-year-old daughter, Leah, who she had with her current boyfriend. Once inside the home, Andre stabbed the 3 victims with 3 different knives. He said he didn't want to cross-contaminate the blood. He wanted to allow the demons inside of them to live. Laura's stab wounds created a large V shape. They didn't know if that was some type of message he was trying to send, but all of the victims were stabbed with so much force, their ribs had been cut open. He cut out a piece of Laura's lung, thinking that it was her heart. He also took the heart of both of the children. Besides the body, Andre left $1 bill lengthwise, exposing the pyramid with the eye in the middle. It was said that he was obsessing over the pyramid with the eye, saying that the eye was evil. After he was done, he laid next to his ex-wife and stabbed himself in the chest. When that didn't work and he didn't die like he was expecting to, he stuffed their organs in his pockets and walked home. Once he got home, he took the 3 knives and put them in the sink. Then he changed his bloody clothes, left them on the bathroom floor. Then he called Laura's parents, which is right here, and left them a voicemail. The voicemail said, "I need y'all help. Something bad is happening to me. I'm scared to go to sleep. I think I'm in hell. Can y'all stop by my house when y'all get this message?" Boy, hell no! After that, Andre told his current girlfriend, yes, he had a girlfriend. Her name was Cameron Hayes. And he told his cousin what he had done. When they asked him why, he told them that he believed that Laura was a Jezebel and his son was the Antichrist. He also said that Laura's 1-year-old daughter was the embodiment of pure evil. His girlfriend said that he had a fascination with religion, especially the book of Revelation. He thought he was the devil. She said that he thought God would forgive him if he could stop himself from talking for 24 hours. So he would frequently tape his mouth. After he confessed, he turned himself in. But just a few days after his arrest, Andre plucked his own eye out with his bare hands while sitting in his jail cell. He then quoted Mark verse 9:47. If it causes you sin, pluck it out. It is better to enter the kingdom of God with 1 eye instead of 2 and be thrown into hell. Now, they took him to the hospital and put the eye on ice, but it couldn't be real. Andre was not competent to stand trial at that time. He was diagnosed with schizophrenia and had to spend 47 days in a mental hospital. On March 15, 2005, when Andre's trial finally started, his defense team tried to plead insanity because it did come out that he has had mental issues since he was about 10 years old. And he had a few suicide attempts in his early teens. The judge, like, no, if he does have mental illness, it is worsened or heightened by his drug and alcohol abuse, which date back to his early teens as well. Andre Thomas was convicted of capital murder and sentenced to death in 2005. Now, on December 9th, 2008, he removed his other eye and ate it. He said he didn't want the federal U.S. government to read his thoughts. Andre's execution has been rescheduled 2 times. He is still on death row. I'm speechless with this. What y'all think? This is the story of Andre Thomas. In spring of 2004, after still struggling with his long-standing alcohol abuse and mental issues, Andre started drinking cold medicine frequently. On March 5th, a friend had to take him to a mental health clinic because he started having manic episodes. Once in the clinic, Andre told the staff, "If y'all don't help me, I'm going to step in front of a bus."
How did I get my Toyota Land Cruiser in the US? Today, that's what we're going to be doing by replying to this comment right here. This is my 2011 Toyota Land Cruiser, which you all may know and love, and it's been on TikTok for months now. And I posted 2 videos, and people have been asking me, how did I get the Land Cruiser in the US? And the answer is, it's very simple. This is not an imported Land Cruiser. I didn't import this from the Middle East. I didn't import it from Russia, which there are a lot of them there. I didn't import it from anywhere. I actually bought it right here used. Now, obviously, the reason why this person's asking is because you don't see Land Cruisers at all. I mean, I have a neighbor who has a 100 series Land Cruiser and a 200 series Land Cruiser, but that's about it in my neighborhood. And the reason why you don't see these cars is because nobody is going to dump about $20,000 or $30,000 for a Toyota SUV with 250,000 miles on it. But people just don't understand what is so special about Land Cruisers. Now, in other markets, I'm talking about Russian, Middle Eastern, on the other side of the globe markets, you can get this in a lot of different engines. You can get it in the 4Runner engine, which is a 4-liter V6. You can get it in the GX460 engine, which is a 4.6-liter V8. You can also get it with a 4.5-liter V8 twin-turbo diesel, which I wish they could make in the U.S., but unfortunately, because of how strict the U.S. is on emissions, we don't get that engine sound. And you also get, which is my favorite engine out of all of them, is the 5.7-liter V8. Now, my favorite would be the 4.5-liter diesel, which is twin turbocharged, of course. But unfortunately, we don't get that engine in the U.S., like I said. So the 5.7 is one of my favorite engines.
I want to make so much money that my children will wake up in the morning and call me, Mommy, 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 what are we having for breakfast? The way they pronounce their daddy's name, they don't care. But Mommy, I want to make so much money that my children can speak some type of English. They speak English that makes sense. I'll say, and not the ones that will say, Mama, yeah, Mama, Mama, yeah. They want to
Sylvain Ekenge ou Echanger? Sylvain Ekenge. Edit. Sylvain E. Save. Sylvain Ekenge.
Man that is not gonna cheat on me because I am so tired of Brandon and his life. Like, please go to Cinnamon. Cinnamon, Lord. Are you kidding me?
If you are an educated, cultured, well-resourced Black man who can articulate himself, has cool hobbies, interests, and an aesthetic eye, consider being a content creator. Consider being a content creator. There is such a huge gap in the Black male content creator space. I worked in the social media space in the way.
There are some blind items that I think are absolutely true. Kanye West that we've been seeing walking around over the last few years is not Kanye West. Kanye West is 5'8". Apparently Bianca Censori is also 5'8". Why the hell was he taller than her when she was wearing heels? Where did his tattoos go? Why does his face look like that? He's in a padded room and the trainer did something. I don't know. I also think there's something really nefarious going on with Wendy Williams. Don't know what it is. Don't think she's as sick as people think that she is. Someone's trying to drain her money. Amy Lynn Spears' baby is Dan Schneider's. Stanley Kubrick did not.
It all started with a passion for the temptation.
Ces TikTokers qui fait des images de Kagame en France, de police en France, de États-Unis en France, et ce sont ces gens-là qui nous rendent un mauvais service. On le met à part, on frappe Kabouya, on frappe tous les ministres, on met dans le même sac et Kagame, et Museveni, la seule personne propre, que ceux qui nous rendent un mauvais service, c'est le mettre lui comme une personne. Alors, il faut savoir que, quand on voit ici, le chef de l'État, et même ceux qui nous proposent le texte, sont en train d'observer le comportement de la personne condamnée. Se montre amendé pendant le temps où il est sous le poids de la condamnation. Mais ce n'est pas ce que nous constatons avec ces TikTokers qui prennent des images de Kagame en France, de police en France, de États-Unis en France, et ce sont ces gens-là qui nous rendent. On le met à part, on frappe Kabouya. Ces TikTokers.
Vous avez l'Afrique? Ah, beaucoup. Beaucoup. Et je ne sais pas pourquoi. Parce que l'Afrique, c'est comme une maladie. Et quand on l'a attrapée, on s'en guérit jamais. Donc vous ne souhaiterez pas quitter l'Afrique? Non, je ne voudrais pas quitter l'Afrique. mais je pense que c'est obligé de faire. Pour que les événements, à cause de tous les événements politiques auxquels nous ne pouvons pas nous soumettre. Vous ne pensez pas que vous pourriez vivre dans un Kenya indépendant? Non, pas dans un Kenya indépendant, mais il ne faudrait pas qu'ils aient plus d'un gouvernement indigène. Vous pourriez pas. Je ne pourrais pas, personnellement. Peut-être mon fils qui est né ici et qui a pris l'habitude d'être indigène pour moi parce qu'il a vécu des choses depuis sa naissance avec eux. Mais moi, je ne suis pas disposé de passer de la position de l'être à celui de Et si vous quittez le Kenya, où pensez-vous aller? Vous avez des projets? Je n'ai pas de projet, mais le monde est vaste. Alors, j'ai encore toute l'année à vivre et je pourrais quand même voir un propre photo. Là, c'est intéressant. Je suis très attiré par l'extrême-orient, par le Pacifique. Mais je ne sais pas si il est là. En tout cas, je vais voir ce qu'il y a à faire. Je connais l'extrême-orient, parce que j'ai appris un rapport, mais je n'ai jamais vécu longtemps là-bas. Donc, vous n'aimez
How many of you noticed that in the 1990s there was a conspiracy theorist with a public access show where he ranted about crazy crackpot theories every single day and nobody took him seriously, but then after he died it turned out he was right about everything. In the late 80s and throughout the 1990s there was a man named Clay Tiffany who had a public access TV show called The Bridge of the Charlatans, where he would sit for hours on end and just rant and ramble about all kinds of conspiracy theories about believe I am maybe going to save your life today, but at the very least, your safety. Like, this is not sponsored. I'm not getting paid to do this, but I think that everyone should have this, especially if you travel, if you're in college, or staying somewhere, maybe even with family over a holiday. About 3 months ago, our family was staying out west. It was in a rental home. I can describe it as that.
A desperate search for 19-year-old Camila Mendoza Alamos. Authorities in Texas issuing a missing person alert. The teenager last seen just before 7 a.m. the morning of Christmas Eve.
It's over 100 views already.
The eye color of white pearls.
really? What kind of art?
If you're stuck working a day or two after Christmas, don't let work ruin your holiday. My work will actually start back on the 1st.
Oh, yes, I knew. I've got something that is going to buy it. Now, the following day, I was arrested and went to the CIA court. And the only I'm going to show you all this. Anybody on the block, man, like, feeling festive. this growing up. You know what I'm saying? Check out my competition. It ain't no, you know what I'm saying? I ain't even got no license. Trying to show y'all, listen.
Artificial intelligence. The agents are still. Artificial intelligence. Microcontroller genesis. With all the investments from Antipedi. Artificial. To the agents that are still bending over backwards for white acceptance. What has it gotten you? You guys got rid of affirmative action, and now.
Why are there fewer serial killers around now than there used to be? In the 1970s, there were around 300 known active serial killers operating within the United States. In the 1980s, it was 200.
I have no clue what it is about my personality or vibe that I guess allows for older white people to feel safe in voicing their political and social views in the world, but I used to be a housekeeper on a cruise ship, and I was speaking to this older woman. Hey, wait, this is cool. It's an emergency light. When you pull it out, it has this plastic divider that separates the batteries. So when you pull it out, the batteries touch, and blame the circuit.
Fascinating.
Hey, look, this is cool. It's an emergency light. When you pull it out, it has this plastic divider that separates the batteries. So when you pull it out, batteries touch, and blame the circuit.
Fascinating. You know, the God of the Bible wasn't originally the God of everyone. He was the God of Israel, a tribal national deity, just like every other nation had. When you actually read the Old Testament without the church filter on, you start noticing a pattern. God isn't presented as a universal, all people, everywhere deity that we talk about today. He's presented as Israel's God, their protector, their warrior, their king. The text literally calls them his chosen people and says that their land was his portion. And over and over, you see the same story. Israel versus another nation. And Yahweh fights for Israel. He brings Israel from Egypt. He helps Israel conquer Canaan. He tells Israel to destroy certain tribes. And he gives Israel land that other people already lived on. If he was the God of the world, wouldn't those be his people too? Meanwhile, every other nation had their own gods, and they believed that their gods were fighting for them. This was normal in the ancient world. Every nation believed that their God was on their side. Israel was no different. The only difference is Israel's stories survived. Their writings became scripture, and later Christianity universalized their God. But originally, Yahweh wasn't the God of the whole world. He was the God of Israel, exactly the way the text describes him. And once you see that, the violence, the favoritism, the chosen people language, all of it suddenly makes sense. And somehow we turn a tribal war God into the God of everyone everywhere without ever asking if that's what those stories were actually saying. You know, the God of the Bible was
never date, never cuff, never marry. Why? Not because it's all women. I don't have proof of that. I don't have proof of it's the collective experience of it. On top of that, you are absolutely incredible. However, the only people that they treat like shit is the boyfriend and the husband. Why would you ever be a fucking boyfriend or a husband when you know that these incredible, beautiful, gorgeous individuals only treat people like shit that are boyfriends or husbands? They don't do that to the dude that they just fucking let them get all the time with. You know what I'm saying? The only person who was treated like shit by these incredible, gorgeous beings was the boyfriend and the husband. Never date, never cuff, never marry, never date, never cuff, never marry. husband. Why would you ever be a fucking boyfriend or a husband when you know that these incredible, beautiful, gorgeous individuals only treat people like shit that are boyfriends or husbands? They don't do that to the fucking that don't give all the time with. You know what I'm saying? The only person who is treated like shit by these incredible, gorgeous beings are the boyfriend and the husband. Never date, never cuff, never.
That 1500 demon dude is very disturbed, right? We got a lot of demons, you know. However,
Joy only has a few branches on her family tree. That's because her grandparents are Adam and Eve.
YouTubers from back in the day become right-wing grifters like one.
Answer is obviously correct. As those checks start rolling in, you start to change your opinion on taxes. But there's another aspect that I want to focus on, and it's about being an abject failure. And I'm not going to use YouTube personality because there's people that have even more influence for abject failure than something they tried to do and decided to turn into right.
Ambitious men tend to be the ones that struggle with lust and pornography so much because it is the only thing that allows them to temporarily escape this purgatory that they are in on the way to being successful. See, because the end result of your ambition is your dream lifestyle, you being seen as a powerful, respected, successful individual. It's no longer just, these are the type of women I want, it's those type of women want you. Most ambitious men I know have a very strong imagination, so much so that they can imagine themselves driving that car, spending time with that woman on that vacation, so much so that they can feel what it would feel like in the moment once they had it. Problem with ambition is it's not immediate. Building that business or whatever takes lots of time. And so after all the work is done at the end of the day and they're laying down in bed, this is often when they go back to pornography or lust. Because they want to feel respected, powerful, successful, desired, and pornography is kind of the one outlet where they can go to and there's no rejection, there's some form of like power. Because they have such a strong imagination, they can use their imagination to imagine being desired that much, even though it's nothing more than a video on a screen. And see, that purgatory time in between the lifestyle that you want where you're at now, that's why you need Christ so much. This is why the scripture talks about bringing imaginations to the obedience of Christ. If you're an ambitious man, you're going to find my page very helpful, so follow me more.
People who dated teenagers have got away with it. This is one of the saddest cases of a child being taken advantage of, because even 40 to 50 years later, she still seems to be something. She is a sweetheart who is loved by so many. I just can't ignore the fact, though, that his kids are her age. One day, a 38-year-old manager and husband gets a demo tape in the mail, and it's of a 12-year-old who is very passionate about singing. He is absolutely moved to tears and decides to mortgage his house just to fund her first album. It was then when Celine Dion saw Michael Jackson live for the first time that she wanted to be a big superstar. Her manager then gave her a huge transformation when she was 18. She would get dental work done and she learned English. In 1988, at just 19 years old, Celine's 47-year-old manager gave her a kiss after her Eurovision performance, and according to her, it was a different kiss goodnight. They also went on a date because Celine says it started getting romantic when she was 18, but that was the first time that they had actually kissed a year later. Celine describes herself at that time as a grown-up child, and she has referenced herself at this exact moment as that many times. Which Renee quickly corrects her in one interview and says, "Well, you weren't a child anymore."
No, I just became a grown-up child, and he was a free man, and not a child anymore.
Now, Celine's mom was like, what do you mean? Especially considering the fact that Renee has kids that are the same exact age as Celine. His firstborn was born in that very same year in 1968. And he was already divorced twice with like 3 kids. Renee and Celine kept their romance on the down low at first, especially because Renee didn't want to tell people. But Celine was like, I'm in love, so I want to tell everybody. In 1994, the bride and groom would then get married, with Renee's 3 grown children in the audience. During the relationship in the 90s and 2000s, there were definitely quite a few rumors going around, or just things that people saw that were kind of like, is Renee super controlling? Like, you kind of depend on him a lot, and like, she was attached to his head, and people kind of thought that was weird. But Celine said that she didn't care because she was in love with him. Way back in 1999, Renee's health starts to decline, and Celine talks talks about in interviews about how she's scared to lose Renee because she's the youngest, and that they're trying for a baby. And they kind of have to hurry up, and it just sucks with the timing because she's been working a whole lot lately. And she goes on to say that like working is not her priority or music, it's being with Renee. Because he had throat cancer in his time. 2 years later, they would have a son via vitro, twins, but later come in 2010. In 2016, Celine's worst nightmare would come true because the only man Celine has ever kissed and the love of her life passes away. Celine has talked about how she loves Renee so much and that her family watched him slowly go, if you get what I mean. He was in bad shape for a while, and her mom passed away in 2020 at 92. In 2025, Celine is now taking off work for the most part, and she has talked about her diagnosis with stiff person syndrome, and even did a documentary about it. Thankfully, I think 12 out of her 13 siblings are actually still alive, which is amazing. And of course, she does still have her 3 kids and Renee's kids. So she has a lot of people around her that love her. She did also say that motherhood gives her the type of fulfillment that music has never given her, and that doesn't surprise me at all that she said that because she's a very humble and grounded person. Being a mother is all that she wanted all along, and really specifically.
Got a melody stuck in my head. Put it on a handgun before I forget it. 1, 2, 3, 4. Boom ba boom bum bum boom ba dum bum bum ba bum 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 ba ba da da boom ba bum 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 ba bum 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 ba bum 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 ba bum bum. 1, 2, 3, 4, and.
I do not believe that Jay-Z and Beyonce do not, let's take Palestine out of it, do not know that their black boy has been crushed in life. You cannot cancel Taylor Swift.
And it's crazy, like, bitches with dead ass try to mold you into a goofy ass nigga. And it's crazy, like.
In the 1960s, there was a black man in Africa who came in with abilities complementary to those of Jesus. And he was performing miracles. He was starting to get people to listen to what he had to say. And the cabal tried to kill him. And, you know, they could shoot him in the head and his skull.
You're lying, bro. You're lying, bro. No, what? Questo vortex sta.
Would just regenerate.
I'm going to show you something you probably never noticed. Look at this. Look at this. Now look at this. What do you notice? That thing is thick. I'm going to show you something you probably never noticed. Look at this. Look at this. Now look at this. What do you notice? That thing is thick. I'm talking about the door, not the agent. Don't be disrespectful.
If they say the thickness of the president's limit door is the same thickness as the cabin door on a Boeing 747, and that puts it into perspective for you. Imagine getting your little piggies stuck in that thing. The door actually has a specific mechanism that only the Secret Service agent knows that's opening the door. If a member of the public or just a stranger were to try and pull on the door handle would just go in and out. It would actually not engage the door and open it. Once the president is inside the limousine and the door is shut, he actually has no way to open the door from the inside of the cabin. So he is reliant on the agents to let him out of the car. What else was I going to say? I'm rusty. You notice the door will be already held open by a Secret Service agent when the president comes out of his event or out of the facility or wherever he is, and they will wait until the very last moment to open the door when the president is exiting the limousine, and that way you limit the amount of time he's exposed. So, the more you know.
It's called apart from music and trying my best, I'm a English teacher, and this one.
Shemisha kukuonesha ile ndonge unataka njoo ya mwisho. Wewe ushikie. Mimi nasema ile njoo ya mwisho. Takufanya mbaya tuko bawili humu batakuwa kunifunga. Tata. Hapana kuzola mbuka tosha kuondakana kupukata. No. Misha kuyaka kulia kwenu. Misha kuyaka kulia kwenu. How in the world does someone read the Bible and arrive at the conclusion that God is the good fellow, whilst the devil is the evil one in the Bible? Can someone explain this to me? Because I have read the Bible from cover to cover, and what I have found out is that all the evil.
It's been a minute, fam, but I'm back. I thought the title was fitting, so we're going to talk about Rakim today. The title track is Guess Who's Back. In the video, Satan is offering him fame and fortune. There's nothing new under the sun. What they're doing is giving you the blueprint. They call it the game, but it's not a game. These people really follow Satan and they want you to do the same thing. A lot of people think it's the newer generation, Beyonce, Jay-Z, but like I said, this has been around a long time and I'm going to show you. Like Jay-Z calls himself a god too, Rakim Allah. As you can see, that's not even his real name. And he's heavy into Egyptology, which is where he got the Ra from. That's where they get the one-eye symbolism and the pyramids from. Listen to this next clip.
And I take you for a walk through hell. You don't watch your eyeballs swell.
You see that motion they're making with their hand? I would always see it, but I never really knew what it meant. I just happened to come across a video one day on TikTok. It was one of those 432 hertz sound frequency type videos. Usually I pass right on by them, but she made that motion with her hand. I was like, wow, that's what that means. She was talking about theta waves. Theta waves give you direct access to the subconscious mind. It's people that listen to these frequencies to open up portals and to access dream states. At this state, your subconscious mind is most receptive to reprogramming, and that's exactly what they are doing with music. In this video about Beyonce, I talked about the 1920s film Metropolis and how they used the robot to control the masses. As you can see here in Eric B. and Rakim's page, he made reference to that same movie. Fame is just a byproduct. They get paid for pushing Satan's agenda.
This is a journey into sound. Journey which along the way will bring to you a new color, new dimension, new value.
That track is from Dennis Edwards, Don't Look Any Further. And as you can see, it's been sampled a bunch of times by different artists. The most notable probably would be Tupac Hit 'Em Up. There's a reason why they keep using the same music over and over. Like you see my other videos, you know I talked about the left and the right, the left being the side of sacrifice. Go that way, not that way. Like I said, it's not a game. Now watch how she comes from the left side with the red glove. She's playing Satan. People find this stuff and what they do is just pull you in, and before you know it, you're in a state of psychosis. Deuteronomy 28:14 says don't go to the left or to the right after other gods. And that's what they're doing. They want you to serve Satan. Left and right is the same. Watch this hand gesture. Pulling you in. Go to the left. Notice how they both dressed in red. One thing about Beyonce, she gonna let you know who her father is. Watch her right here. Pulling you in, along with the one-eyed symbolism and the one knee taking a bow to Satan. Shaka Khan, they get red on the left and he points to the right. Same thing. Now watch right here, she pulling you in. Now notice that she looks on the right side of her face. Now watch her boy here, give the bow of silence. And watch her, she gonna go to the right. It's been a minute. Trying to level out a vocal with a dynamic range of listening. It's been a minute. The music industry is such a demonic thing. Right, but until they actually break down these videos like this, you want to form a control opposition. You see one-eyed symbolism with these fingers in her hair. Right here, she's throwing up the pyramid. She's got words of everyone. Notice the eyes. And then notice how five of her appear. The whole song is about witchcraft. It sounded cute and it might have went over your head, but she literally said, I can cast a spell, see what you can't tell. She's representing 5 elements of magic: earth, wind, fire, spirit, and air. This is the logo for the Order of the Eastern Star. Notice how the colors are the same, and it's a backstory. Speaking of earth, wind, and fire, they said their music was a spiritual journey because that's what it was. Band member Maurice White studied Mississippi organization. He was honest. What you're looking at here is the building that identity. Hollywood is always pushing us towards star worship. Now we know that Lucifer is associated with Venus, the star of the morning. But there's another star that they always talk about, Sirius. There it is, Wendy. See that star on the right and straight on to a morning. Sirius A is the brightest star in the night sky. Sirius B is your companion. It's not visible without a telescope. It's been a minute, fam. Not only is she levitating, but the dove represents the Holy Spirit leaving her body. United States back at it again, promoting the spirit of death. And then trying to level out a vocal with a dynamic.
Hi guys, and welcome to the long-awaited Christmas haul slides from Hermes.
They're 50.
These beautiful Uggs.
You guys, I'm actually surprised this is the cheapest fucking item. It's $79.
So like fluffy slides.
These slippers look so fucking soft and comfortable. $620. 2,190.
Okay.
For example, this is the last one we have. We have the rough patch, marriage, and the art of living together. Okay, cool. Now there's also
My name's Stephen. I used to be a Christian, now I'm an atheist, and I'm talking about it. I graduated from Dallas Theological Seminary with a master's in Christian leadership, served on 3 different churches on staff as lead teaching pastor, associate worship pastor, a young adults director, and a director of young marrieds ministry. Agnostic atheist, which in itself is kind of an interesting term, but it's like a demystified mystic, where I still like to find wonder and awe in things, but I like to always check up on the science of what's actually going on in the real world. So that's where I am. All that to say, if you are interested in listening to my journey of deconstruction and what I now believe and what I have enjoyed pursuing, then tag along. My name's Stephen. I used to be a Christian.
listen to what Trump's
My name's Stephen. I used to be a Christian, now I'm an atheist.
listen to what Trump's Attorney General said at her confirmation hearing and what we've seen play out over the past 11 months.
I would like to know whether if the president suggests, hints, asks that you as Attorney General should investigate one of his perceived enemies.
Senator, I certainly have not heard the president say that.
He posted just last hour, quote, Pam, I have reviewed over 30 statements and posts saying that essentially same old story as last time, all talk, no action, nothing is being done. What about Comey, Adam Shifty Schiff, Letitia, question mark, question mark, question mark? They're all guilty as hell, but nothing is going to be done. We can't delay any longer. It's killing our reputation and credibility.
No one will be prosecuted, investigated because they are a political opponent. That's what we've seen for the last 4 years.
There's a fairy tale that totally makes me think of men who get obsessed with like cam girls and spend all their money and all their time on the relationship that they have with them. It's called The World's Beauty from Armenia. A rich merchant is dying, and on his deathbed he tells us,
I have a theme song for Dr. Pepper, and it goes like this. Dr. Pepper, baby, it's good and nice to do. I have a theme song for Dr. Pepper, and it goes like this. Dr. Pepper, baby, it's good and nice to do. I have a theme song for Dr. Pepper, and it goes like this. Dr. Pepper, baby, it's good and